went and did a podcast, a white podcast. You sat your for almost 2 hours
and didn't leave.
and you talk. And the white folk asked you, was you a professional officer?
Yeah.
We would have never asked you that, nigga. We got respect for you.
Right.
And you sat right there and you answered that question so eloquently, like it wasn't even disrespectful. And then I get to sit back and watch that. And what's the difference between them and us?
Okay.
Now I feel disrespect.
Right.
Don't do us like that. And
Man, the internet has been on absolute flames ever since Rick Ross and DC Young Fly locked horns. Nobody predicted this matchup. It started as a tiny joke, but the way DC flipped it turned into a full-on viral roasting session that took over every timeline. It all began when Ross hopped online with some slick talk, trying to clown DC like he was just some lightweight comic who needed to stay in his little lane. Ross dropped a video doing the whole boss routine, cigars, luxury whips, big energy, talking about comedians staying in their section. But DC wasn't letting that slide. He clapped back with a response so sharp, so fast, and so disrespectfully funny that people instantly knew Ross swung at the wrong guy. See, DC Young Fly isn't just a funny man, he's a professional verbal sniper. Years on Wild 'N Out roasting celebrities has made him lethal with comebacks. So when Ross threw that shade, DC turned it into entertainment. His comeback video exploded within hours, with fans calling it one of the coldest clapbacks of the year. DC stared straight into the camera and said, "Boy, if you don't go sit down with them lemon pepper wings and that Maybach you still leasin'." The delivery had folks crying. Social media went wild. Reposts, memes, reaction videos everywhere. Even celebrities jumped in the comments saying DC cooked him. Ross tried to play unbothered, posting his usual rich lifestyle clips, private jets, money piles, the promised land estate glowing in the background, but the fans weren't letting him breathe. Every comment section he touched had people saying, "DC got you, Wingstop CEO took the L." It became a running punchline. So Ross fired back again, but honestly, it only made things messier. He tried to clown DC's career, saying comedians joke because they can't make money like bosses.
Since he walked off on
Man, we were just talking to Angie Martinez about that yesterday. We in Atlanta, so we run into him all the time. He do car shows. So they ain't never been no hard feeling.
Yeah.
this ain't no hard feeling.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, first of all, I don't give.
Yeah, I get it.
But I give a because
Try to make it.
you as a person.
Yeah.
We the type of people that will never bring up nothing that we feel like that can be diminished to your career or anything, nigga, because we some real niggas.
Yeah.
The moment you leave our show.
But that's when DC dropped the second bomb. He went live and said, "Boy, your whole life built on lemon pepper and lies." The internet broke again. It wasn't just the words, it was that raw delivery, that street smart humor mixed with confidence Ross just couldn't match. DC pointed out how Ross always tries to push that boss persona, but has been caught slipping plenty of times, from that correctional officer past to questions about some of his business moves. DC said, "How you call yourself the biggest boss when your biggest L's keep going viral?" Boom, another explosion online. Suddenly, Ross didn't look untouchable. He looked like the main course at a comedy roast. Fans started treating it like a rap battle. DC versus Ross, comic versus rapper. But the wild part, DC wasn't even rapping, he was just talking. That's how powerful his charisma is. His jokes were razor sharp, fearless, and effortless. Meanwhile, Ross looked tense, trying to save face with motivational quotes like, "Real bosses don't entertain clowns." But people weren't buying it. Ross looked hurt. DC turned his name into a trending topic for all the wrong reasons. Then it got uglier. Fans dug up old videos of Ross getting roasted by other celebs and mashed them with DC's new clips. Total chaos. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all flooded with edits of Ross getting flamed while DC's punchlines played over them. Some fans even said DC reminded them of those classic Def Comedy Jam legends who could end you with a single line. It stopped being just a roast, it turned into a cultural moment. Rappers, influencers, YouTubers, everybody had something to say. And the crazy part? DC wasn't even mad. He laughed through the whole thing, joking he might drop a comedy special called Lemon Pepper Laughter. Fans said if he releases that, it's an instant hit. Ross, meanwhile, looked frustrated. He went live trying to change the conversation to business, real estate, being self-made, but nobody cared. Every serious moment got drowned in lemon emojis and DC quotes. Even big names like 21 Savage and DayBaby were liking posts siding with DC, and when that happens, the internet has already decided the winner. Some fans analyzed it deeper, saying this exposed something bigger. Rappers like Ross can't handle comedians who run the internet narrative. DC's humor cut straight through the luxury persona. No amount of wealth could protect Ross from meme culture. This era rewards being real, relatable, and funny, not stiff and flashy. And DC proved that. He didn't need cars, mansions, or theatrics, just his phone and his wit, and that was enough to level a rap mogul. Ross supporters tried to say DC was chasing clout, but that didn't stick. DC already has his own empire: comedy, acting, producing. He starred in hit shows and movies. He's not some newcomer trying to ride Ross's name. So when he roasted Ross, it didn't feel like punching up. It felt like two heavyweights clashing in the digital arena. And bar for bar, joke for joke, DC just outperformed him. The timing made it even tougher for Ross because people have already been calling him out lately for being out of touch online, flexing nonstop while regular folks struggle. So DC's jokes stung extra hard because they carried truth. He said what people were already thinking. Ross might be rich, but he's starting to look corny. That's why the moment blew up. It wasn't just comedy. It was a reality check wrapped in laughter. And that's DC Youngfly's magic. He blends humor with truth so smoothly that you'll laugh and nod at the same time. Ross underestimated that. He thought he could dismiss DC like a random troll, but instead, DC turned it into the roast that cracked his entire image. Funniest part? DC didn't even curse or get personal. He just used pure charisma to humble a superstar. Now that the storm is settling, this Rick Ross versus DC Young Fly saga is looking like a defining moment in celebrity culture. Fans calling it the roast that humbled a boss. And honestly, that might be the most accurate title yet. Truth is, DC owned this whole moment start to finish. The way he handled it proved that sometimes the loudest mic drop doesn't come from a rapper in the booth. It comes from a comedian with a camera and confidence. After DC's last viral clapback, Ross went quiet for a few days. You could tell he was regrouping. His next posts? All business stuff. Wingstop promos, Maybach pics, boss talk. But fans saw right through it. Silence equals taking the L. Meanwhile, DC's momentum kept growing. He started trending everywhere again when clips of him performing at a comedy show popped up. And of course, he used the stage to throw shade live. Rick Ross tried to check me, but I checked his cholesterol. The crowd went wild. Clips went viral instantly, and Ross was once again a walking punchline. It's wild because Ross built his empire on dominance, untouchable, the biggest boss. But DC cracked that image with jokes too real to ignore. Fans pointed out Ross had been throwing subliminals at rappers, podcasters, you name it, for months, yet nobody fired back like DC. It's almost poetic. A comedian made a rap mogul look small. That's what people mean when they say the internet leveled the playing field. Fame and money doesn't guarantee respect anymore. Authenticity does. Then, of course, the memes went nuclear. Ross walking into Wingstop, DC's voice roasting him over every clip, fake Employee of the Month posters with DC's face, even AI remixes of DC's jokes turned into diss tracks. Fans were throwing punches like it was a digital boxing match, and Ross couldn't win. Every move equals meme fuel. At one point, Ross tried flexing again with a mansion clip, pool full of champagne bottles. But DC's fans flooded the comments. You can't buy a comeback. DC owns this pool now. Brutal. Entertainment blogs ran headlines like, DC Young Fly outshines Rick Ross. Ross went from controlling narratives to being the narrative. What set DC apart? He never went dark or personal. No family shots, no health digs, no crossing lines. Just clean, clever, spontaneous roasting. That's why fans respected it. And deep down, even Ross had to know DC didn't mean harm, just defending himself with his gift. But ego's tricky, and Ross's pride probably made it hard to laugh along. By now, DC's undefeated roast champ status is cemented. Not his first W, but probably the biggest of his career. He didn't just win online, he earned major respect in entertainment. Celebs like Mike Epps, D.L. Hughley, even Kevin Hart reportedly showed love, calling DC the new generation of fearless comedy. This feud also proves how fast narratives flip online. A few years ago, nobody imagined a comedian embarrassing a rap mogul this badly. But culture's changed. Wit beats wealth. People connect with energy and truth over money talk. DC's audience keeps growing because he's relatable, unfiltered, and fun. He doesn't take himself too seriously, and that's why people take him seriously. Ross might bounce back eventually. He's still a legend in music and business, but the internet won't forget this. Every flex post now risks a lemon pepper joke or DC quote. This roast became symbolic. No matter how powerful, nobody's safe from being clowned if they get too cocky. Even crazier, rumors are swirling about a possible DC Ross collab. Maybe a podcast or comedy skit to squash the beef and turn it into cash. Imagine DC walking through Wingstop cracking jokes while Ross plays straight man. Fans would eat that up. Controversy equals views, views equals cash. Until then, DC's sitting comfortably in the wind. Timing, confidence, humor, he turned a small jab into a career highlight. Ross learned you can't outshine someone naturally funny, no matter how many cars or mansions you flash. The people decided. This crown goes to the comedian. DC proved laughter always wins, especially when backed by truth. His name is louder than ever, while Ross got reminded even the biggest boss can catch a digital fade when they mess with the wrong one.